Today, the 28th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year B, we hear the story of Solomon, who we ask for wisdom from God. According to what we have read in the Bible, Solomon was the wisest king ever. But all of us know how he ended, not at peace with God. Again, we hear the story of the rich man who possesses everything. He's rich, but then comes in the face of God, and after hearing the word of God, goes away sad. Each of them lacking something. What are they lacking? According to Howard Gardner and Daniel Coleman, and one reflection I read from Bishop Adeshina, there are multiple types of intelligence in existence. Why Gardner will tell us that there are 7 different forms of intelligence: the linguistic intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, the spatial intelligence, bodily kinetic intelligence, the musical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and the intrapersonal intelligence. Some other scholars will classify them as intelligent quotient to be the first one. Intelligent quotient is the measure of your comprehension ability to solve mathematical propositions, memorize things, and recall subject matters. In Solomon, we can see this. In the rich man, we saw this. Solomon faced in one of the scriptures, one of the parts of the Bible, a case was brought to him about somebody that stole somebody's baby. He is able to calculate, he is able to solve issues. The rich man is able to remember the commandments. He knows them and he has kept them. They are intelligent. Their intelligent quotient is high. There is the emotional quotient, the EQ. This is the measure of your ability to maintain peace with others, keep to time, be responsible, be honest, respect boundaries, be humble, genuine, and considerate. According to Peter Scatztezoro, he says, very few people emerge out of their families of origin emotionally whole or matured. According to Coleman, he says there are 5 key elements involved in emotional intelligence. 1, the self-awareness, the self-regulation, the motivation, the empathy, and the social skills. There is the third one, the social quotient. This is the measure of your ability to build a network of friends and maintain it over a long period of time. According to the psychologists, people that have high emotional quotient and social quotient tend to go further in life than those with high intelligent quotient but have low emotional and social quotient. Most schools capitalize and focuses on the improving the intelligent quotient while they play down the emotional quotient and social quotient. For instance, I listened to Bishop Kuka's homily when he was analyzing the consequences in Nigerian education. For you to get a first class, you need to apply yourself to your studies. It takes a lot of time for you to study and get the certificate. So why those who want to make first class are killing themselves in the library, making all the time? The minute they finish their first degree, they want to go for masters. They want to go for PhD. Now they have high intelligent quotient. Now many of them, because they apply themselves to studies, some of them don't take time to have friends. They lack the social quotient and sometimes emotional quotient. So they are just lost in their books, but not in the social life. So they sacrifice the social for the educational life. Now, while they are studying, the others who are average in the class, many of them at times have great reputation. They are very good, very obedient. They have the social life. They can be very obedient. They may not be very intelligent. For instance, if you read the life of Vianney, for instance, Vianney was good in the secular life, but he was not very intelligent. But he could sacrifice his time to listen to you, to run errands, to do those things that affect the human persons. So Bishop Kuka said, while they are studying, these people of average life will go into the society and they will get jobs. By the time the first class people will come out, these other ones that are already in the society have risen. They are the ones owning the company. So eventually they will be the ones to employ the first class. He now said something like, those in the third class cannot compete in the companies and all those things, so they go into politics. They continue to rule all of us. Then the dropouts, who cannot compete with any other person, those ones will now be the people that the politicians will use, and they call the shots. I don't know, it's just analysis I'm doing. No, I'm not the one saying it. So he says, our educational system have great consequences. You go to a place like Ibadan, for instance. Ibadan is one city that has a lot of institution, educational institution. But the person running Ibadan some few years ago was not a professor. I think Adedibu was his name. Yes, he was not the most intelligent person in that town, but he was the one calling all the shots, despite all the whole institution and all the whole professors we have there. These are the kind of funny things we see. So somebody can have a very high intelligent quotient, but then when he lacks the emotional and the social, he's nowhere. But then when you have the social and the emotional, even if you lack the intelligent one, you can still go far. Are you with me? So a man of high IQ can end up being employed by a man of high emotional and social quotient, even though he has an average IQ. Your emotional quotient represents your character. Your social quotient represents your charisma. Give in to habits that will improve these three quotients. But more especially, try to keep your focus more on the emotional quotient and the social quotient. The emotional quotient and the social quotient make one manage better than the other. Don't teach your children only the intelligent quotient. Don't just focus on academics alone, but also try your best to focus on the emotional quotient and the social quotient. This is what Jesus was drawing the attention of this rich man to in the gospel reading of this day. It's not that Jesus hates riches. No, let's clarify that fact. Jesus had some friends who were rich. Joseph of Arimathea was a very rich man. Zacchaeus, we were told, was even saved. Zacchaeus was saved. But then we learned that Zacchaeus gave almost half of all his property. Given the fact that he was a tax officer at that time, is considerable. So the question is not that rich people cannot be saved. No, that is not even the debate. The question is, what kind of rich person can be saved? So Jesus is not against the rich. But what type of rich person can be saved? Why? Because there are times when a person has money, he allows that money to dominate him, to gain possession of him. The money now controls him rather than him controlling the world. So it changes everything in the society. From what we have learned, what we are taught is, with God, all things are possible. In fact, the scripture says, everything is possible for one who believes. But the world says to the one who has money, everything is possible for the one who has money. They have changed it. It's no longer things are possible with God. So faith, hope, and charity are no longer placed in God, but they are placed in money. And this is exactly the problem. Avarice is an addiction to being idolatry. It's also a source of unhappiness. The avaricious person is unhappy. When people have serious wealth and they lack the sense of God, the sense of the sacred, they are really very unhappy. Because every time they are there, they distrust everybody. Every human being around them is a suspect. And because they are afraid, they begin to isolate themselves. They begin to pick. They can't go everywhere. They can't do. See, listen, let me tell you. When I was in Ajegunle, you see, I was living, you see, Papa Obi lives in a small apartment there. Anytime he's going out, they say, Papa Obi, you have not closed your door. He say, help me jam him. He continues his own. In the morning, he wakes up, and people are gathered. They say, Ambroba came, and he's brushing his teeth, and he's asking, which day? Which day means that he slept like a baby. He's not even interested. He has a very big television. The only time he shows color is when they use Ribena wrapper to put it, and everything will be showing color yellow. Only the child knows how to give that television the technical slap so that it can show well. Because sometimes when you are watching, you don't know whether rain is falling or that is how the television is. but he has peace of mind. He goes about his daily work. He's not afraid of anybody. He goes wherever he wants. Mr. John lives in Lekki. He has security man. He's not sure whether Musa can guide him well. He has German Shepherd. And he says to the trainer, help me crossbreed them. German Shepherd plus Bulldog plus everything. He has it. Then he's not just satisfied. He puts a gate there. He cages himself inside. He has a gun inside. One night he hears a gun. He says to the wife, go and open the door when they come. The wife says, but you are the man of the house. He says, it is because I am the man of the house. I am giving you the command to go and open the door. Even with all the security, he's not still assured. He goes out with bulletproof because he's not even sure that he can pass through everything. Even with all this, he cannot sleep well. Even with all the protection he has put, like Sheyi Law said, a man that was inside the bulletproof was going and they were shooting. He told the driver, open the door, let me go, let me run. The driver said, Oga, it is bulletproof. And he asked, did they test it in your front? You see, the avaricious is always unhappy and he isolates himself. He's always scared. He does not have affection, not even for his own family members. There are some people that are rich. They will never give their wife or their children anything. The family will only hear that our father is rich. He is only rich when he goes for function. He donates, but he does not give to family members. As such, he evokes a kind of talk that makes people feel as if the money is not clean. That he has done ritual, and part of the clause is that he must not spend it within, only outside. So many of them are like that, and because they are always there, they see every other person around them as always taking advantage of them. In fact, they impose one kind of idea on their family members, thinking that their wealth is such that is attracting people to them. So they continue to suspect people that the only thing you are thinking in your mind is that you are praying that he should die so that you will now take the wealth. So many of them will now begin to hide this wealth so that their wife, their children don't even know the amount of wealth they have. So they will bury this wealth under the earth, or sometimes they buy apartment in a place like Ikoyi and nobody stays there and they hide it inside the savings. And the funniest thing, like one person says, that the difference between a mental miser and a metal miser is that when the mental miser dies, he dies with all the wealth. When the metal miser dies, he leaves his wealth for another person who don't even know the source of his wealth to enjoy. This is one of the difficulties about being rich and being scared. Apart from this point, when they deny themselves because they don't want people to always come to them. So they try to say, we are not rich, I'm not rich, I don't have money, I don't have money. And every time they keep saying, I don't have money, they deny themselves the beauty of life. So they neither enjoy this world and they don't even have the assurance with God because their self-denial is not towards anything. So they go away. You see, in certain homes like this, sometimes when you ask your dad, you say, Dad, I need money, I want to buy this. And your father said he does not have money. Then he goes to hide it. Then you now say, Daddy, let me sweep your room. As you are sweeping it, maybe he hides it in the shoe. The minute you carry that shoe, it's hard to be pounding. And sometimes we have made children to be hardworking because you think they are hardworking because they want to work hard. No, it is because each time they sweep, they discover where you have hidden something. And the worst part is like you cannot come out to ask who took my money. And children will ask, Daddy, so you have money. So you die within yourself. This is one of the difficulties about being pure, being rich without God. Instead of security and tranquility, he is an eternal hostage of his own money. Jesus tells us this is not how it's supposed to be. One must know how to balance these things in life. You must use your money to make friends. That's how he says it. Use your money, use your intelligence to also incur for yourself the social quotient so that your money can touch the life of people rather than keep it underneath the earth. Store it in heaven. Take it abroad. He is not saying take it to Switzerland. No. He is saying store it in the life of people. Human investment is the best investment in life. Capacity development. Having said all this, there is a fourth one. a new paradigm, the adversity quotient, AQ, the measure of your ability to go through a rough patch in life and come out without losing your mind. The adversity quotient determines who will give up in the face of trouble and who will abandon his family or who will consider suicide. To my dear parents, expose your children to other areas of life other than academics. They should adore manual work. There is dignity in labor. Never use work as a form of punishment. I have met people who say to me that they don't wash plates. They have never washed plates in their life. In fact, there was a lady that the mother came to report to me, and the small girl was just crying, 9½ And I asked the girl, why are you crying like this? He said, is it not my mother? I said, what did your mother do? He said, yesterday I was the one that washed the plate. Today is the turn of my mother to wash plate. I said, is that so? I said, how old are you again? He said, I am going to 10. I said, you are still going to 10. You have not even reached the 10. For that child, he doesn't see the dignity in labor. Because every time he does something wrong, they will say, go and do this. He sees work as a kind of punishment. No, don't allow your children to cultivate that kind of habit. Let them love sports. Let them love art. Because art is like beauty. It has its own consequences. The minute a child grows up learning to adore, to have this passion for beauty, you will reap the fruit in future. Even in the marriage life. You know, when a man marries a woman, his beauty is attached. The fascination of beauty attracts. And that's why I keep saying that before you do marriage, go to abroad, live. Live like 2 years, then come back. See the way women are treated. Like egg. Because what our teacher taught us is like when you see a rose flower in the garden, the average Nigerian is moved to go and pluck it. No, you don't pluck beauty when you have seen it. You nurture it. You found the beauty. You found the flame of love alive in that beauty. And the minute we have learned this, you see, it goes with us wherever we go. And that's why I say to parents, be careful. Even the kind of toys we buy for our children. When they are small, for the ladies, we buy dolls, you know, all these affective toys. We buy competitive toys for our children. And they do it in such a way that they don't even know how to lose. No. One of the beauty of sports is you must learn how to lose and you must learn how to win. So that in life you begin to understand that everything may not necessarily go your way. And you must learn to balance all those things. I said, the other time I was watching the television and they were selling the gloves of Michael Jackson. Glove. And they were calling millions of dollars, billions of dollars. And I said to myself, you bring the glove here and say the glove is 3 million. Everybody will just leave you and continue their journey. Or you bring Michelangelo's painting and say it's 5 million. Nobody listens to you. Who has that one helped? Because we don't have this appreciation for beauty. And because that appreciation for beauty is not there, even when you see somebody that is beautiful, the first thing in your mind is to destroy that beauty rather than to nurture it. So parents must be careful to instill in their children, develop their emotional quotient, their social quotient, and their adversity quotient. They should become multifaceted human beings, able to do things independent of their parents. Family, prepare your children for the road and don't prepare the road for them. In those days, in going to school, one of the things they taught us is when you go to school, you come back. Even when there are no jobs around, you can create a job. That's why you are a learned person. But today, you see, in those days, when you go to a city, you get the job, you come back, you want to change the life of your parents. You want to build a house for them. You want to show them how you have succeeded. Today, you go to school, you come back, you now sit down with your parents, expecting them to help you get a job. Meanwhile, your mother is selling akara on the road there, and you're expecting her to get you a job in NNPC. Instead, the mother has invested in you so that you will go there. That which she cannot do, she expects you to transform the life. But you come back, instead of transforming their life, you are still expecting them to transform your life. No wonder they use you for ritual. Think, my dear friends. Change all these things. Develop your emotional, your social, and your adversity quotient. And as you do this, may this balance always help us to have a good society through Christ our Lord. Amen.